your spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Doni Jones, she the one you wanna see. Doni Jones Live, this is where you wanna be. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, welcome to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady, and I am hanging out with an amazing person today. Usually on the show, we try to bring you people that are making a difference in the world, that are doing great things, and that can also help you build a beautiful life. And of course, today on the show, we have somebody that is near and dear to me, and it's somebody that I really admire because not only have I seen her thrive in an industry, I've also seen her transition and make a name for herself, which a lot of people have had to do, especially over the last couple of years with COVID, and just people making career changes. So anytime I run into somebody like that, I like to share it with you guys so that you too can be inspired by people that are making a difference and changing things up and going to the next level in their life. And the lady that I'm talking about is sitting right here next to me, good friend of mine, powerhouse lady, Gina Kavali.
Hi there, Doni. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I really do. So,
my pleasure.
Now, for people that don't know, as I stated in the intro, that you are a friend of mine, but I want you to tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you got going right now.
Well, thanks again for having me, Doni. I appreciate that. Love your show and love everything that you do for the community. I have been in the community as a broadcaster for more than 28 years behind the microphone on radio stations. I currently am on in about 57 markets across the country. I used to do some local radio here in Atlanta, but have since pulled back to kind of reinvent myself with Life with the Spectrum.
Yes.
And that is my current YouTube show that I have on YouTube. My family, my son has ASD, stands for Autism Spectrum Disorder.
Yeah.
And so we're affected with it. We live life with the spectrum.
Yeah.
And so I have people come on and talk from people who are actually on the spectrum to great organizations that talk about different things and how they move and shake through this crazy world of challenges and disabilities. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the spectrum, but certainly that's my focus because that's what I'm living with. And it's just amazing. You know, I always say this, is it's a community that you never ask to be in.
Right.
However, once you're in that community, you're so welcomed and so grateful for all of the great support and the people around you. So that's what I'm doing right now.
And I love that.
You can find me on YouTube, Gina Kavali or Life with the Spectrum, and make sure to subscribe if any of that has to do with your family.
Yeah. Well, the reason why it's so exciting watching you do this is because I have known you for years. And I hear so many people say they want to go do this or they want to go do that, and they just never quite do it. And I know in your case, you had been thinking about doing something with autism. We've always talked about it, you know, because it is such a big part of your life, which then makes it, in my opinion, part of my life also.
I didn't want to exploit my family. I didn't. The last thing I wanted to do was to exploit my son, my husband, myself, even though I exploit myself every day on the radio.
I don't consider it exploiting.
It's a little different when I talk about some of the fun and crazy things that happen. But really, that's the last thing you want to do because you always want to be the mama bear and protect and
you want to
kind of keep your family in a bubble. But the more I started talking to parents, the more that I understood that there was a need because it's not just the small children that you hope get diagnosed when they're tiny, but it's also young teenagers and adults that are transitioning into college or being able to go out into the workforce for the first time. So it really was then at that point where I said, you know what, I've got to make the decision to do what's right for the masses, and everyone who knows my family and especially my child loves Lyric.
Absolutely.
He's great.
Yes, so. Lyric is her son. If you're just now joining the show, I'm here talking with Gina Kavali, and she also has a production, a company, Gcast. Can you tell people a little bit about that too?
So when I came off of, again, I'm still on radio across the country in markets with
57 markets, you guys.
or more or less, I don't know. But I was doing some radio here in Atlanta, and I came off of those stations, and I decided that in order to make a real go of it, I needed to have my website. I needed to build a completely, within a brand, build a completely different brand. And so if you go to gcast.com, which is my website.
And could you spell that for the people? Yeah, because it's kind of a funny spelling right there.
GKASTS.com, gcast.com.
Yeah.
If you go to that website, you'll see not only am I on the radio and you can get those services from me, but then you can see Life with the Spectrum. You can also see voice and commercial demos. You see Friends of GCast, which I'm so happy that you're a part of that and a proud sponsor of what we're doing. So it's just a great opportunity to connect with someone who is trying to make a difference for somebody else's family too.
Well, I think for me, watching this, and I think this is where I was going with this, a lot of people have been through what you've been through, meaning they were in a career, they loved their career, loved what they were doing, but at some point they felt like they needed to go in a different direction, whether it was voluntary, involuntary, whatever. But they don't quite have the strength to go as hard as you did. What advice would you give to somebody that's in that space where things are not going the way they wanted to, or they may not necessarily, for whatever reason.
We don't want to go into those reasons why they weren't working out for me.
But what would you say to somebody that's like, okay, it's time to make a change right now? What is the one thing that you would say, this is what I had to do to make that transition?
I think the most important part in anything is to do what makes you happy. And that has become my new motto for 2022. When I left my job, which was not making me happy, one of the many, I said, I have to do what makes me happy, because everything else then comes to you. And it's a life lesson that no matter what age you are, you can apply it to what you're living in. If you're not happy with your workout regimen, do what makes you happy. If you're not happy with the money that you're getting, do what makes you happy. All of everything, the universe has a funny way of taking care of you.
Oh my God.
If you would just do what makes you happy. And I'm not talking about sitting at home.
And see, I guess that's what I want to get into.
I gotta be honest with you. So I feel like she kind of got a bad rap. Kim Kardashian was talking one time, and I can't paraphrase her. I'm just gonna say in general, she was talking about how women needed to get off their butt and go to work.
Absolutely,
The work ethic, in my opinion, has changed in this country, where. And you don't have to be a woman. You could be a man. You could be young. You could be old. You could be middle-aged, whatever. But she was right. And I sat there and I was like, you have to go out and hustle every day. You gotta go make it happen. If you want to make it happen for yourself, do what makes you happy. Everything else will come. But if you don't have the effort, if you don't put that effort behind it, then you won't get anything. Well,
and the thing is, with you knew that you've got all these responsibilities, and even though your husband does well, you still are part of bringing something into the family.
I love to contribute. I used to be the breadwinner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's people that are in situations where they want to go do what makes them happy, but all they're doing is focusing on the money. And I think for you focused on what made you happy, which is allowing the money to come. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a disconnect there. How did you make the leap from, okay, I'm not going to worry about the money, but I'm just going to focus on what makes me happy?
I think there's an opportunity to look at yourself and go, okay, what am I doing? Where am I at? Where can I go? And do I have that oomph that you can put behind it.
Yeah.
And do you have other people around you that support you?
Exactly. And speaking of support, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get a little bit more into that story, but then we'll also talk about some other things that you're doing right now.
That are coming up.
That's right, that are coming up. So I'm Doni the Tree Lady. We are here with Gina Kavali, and you're listening to Doni Jones Live. And we're going to take a quick break and be right back.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
When it falls, there's only one tree company to call. That's Don's Tree Service. Call them at 770-413-TREE. That's 770-413-8733.
I looked out the window after the storm and found out that there was a tree that had fallen, so I needed somebody quickly. Made one phone call. The appointment was made. They got the tree down. They do full service cleanup so that it looked like nothing had been done at all. Don's Tree Service did an awesome job for me, and I would recommend them highly.
Hey guys, I'm Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. We are an Atlanta-based tree service serving all of Metro Atlanta. And you know what? We proudly serve the underserved. And not only that, when we cut down your trees, we don't charge extra for cleaning up. So give us a call at 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Question: have you ever thought about where you're at in the Bible? You know, the Bible is broken down in different parts. You got the Old Testament, the prophets, you got the Gospels, and then you have the letters from Paul. Where are you at in the Bible? You know, are you in the garden where you're still trying to figure life out? Or do you feel like you're in that 400 years of silence, not hearing from God at all? Where are you at in the Bible? I'd love to talk about it with you at St. Mark Lutheran Church. Yep, this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are in person, and I would love to worship with you. And we start at 11 a.m. We're located at 4137 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. Now, if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can always log on to stmarklutheranchurch.org and be a part of any of our online services. That's stmarklutheranchurch.org.
Hey, this is Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.donijoneslive.com.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady, and I am here with Gina Kavali with GCast and Life with the Spectrum. And we were talking about basically how you kind of develop the internal fortitude to go for what you want and not necessarily focus on the money, even though you know the money has to come. And
Sure.
you were explaining how you made that leap.
I did. I made the leap, and I'm so happy that I did. And whenever the money comes, that's when it comes. And until then, I'm hustling. I tell myself that I've never worked harder in my life for no money. But I'm happier this way because I'm doing what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And that's making a difference, having other people watch shows that are informational, educational,
Yeah.
and that is real applications that they can
That's right.
use. You know, to being on the spectrum, April is traditionally Autism Awareness
Yes.
Month. However, across the country, Doni, there is coming up walks.
Yes.
The annual Autism Walk is happening here in Atlanta. It'll be at the Battery.
Yes.
If you don't live in Atlanta, Georgia, there are walks all across the country, and you can find that on autismspeaks.org. That's a great tool for people. And then after the walk in October, we transition into something called Kindness Week and Kindness Month, and that runs the entire month of November. Typically a month of giving back.
Yes.
What Kindness Week is businesses, individuals can pledge with a group of employees and or individually just to do random acts of kindness.
Random acts of kindness.
All of them,
we call them racks, right?
Yeah, all of the money raised goes to fund research programs for autism. Yeah. And you know, there are more good people than not.
That's right.
And so to show that we're doing random acts of kindness and to actually pledge that we are going to either pledge money or do this or do an act of service for the community, plant a tree, do whatever. It really does go a long way.
A little bit goes a long way, and a lot goes a long way too. But I want people to also be able to support what you're doing, because I know you're doing something for the walk, but also I want people to just be able to get in contact with you if they want more information about Life with the Spectrum. How can people get in contact with you, Gina?
So I'm all over social media, Gina Kavali. You can find me, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, whatever. But then you can also watch the YouTube show, which is called Life with the Spectrum. You can find that through gcast.com or on YouTube and watch a couple of shows. Let us know if there's something that we're missing. Let us know a hot topic that you really want that's affecting you and your family or somebody you know. A lot of times it's very difficult for people to be around people on the spectrum because they themselves then become uncomfortable because they don't know how to act.
Right.
Well, this show gives so much great information through so many great different people that it really does make a big difference. It makes a really big difference.
It does.
So find me on YouTube at GCast or Life with the Spectrum and see what you see.
Awesome. Now, what's being on this journey that you're on, building this show, obviously being a personality that's all over the country.
Yeah.
While doing this, what's been the most surprising thing for you on this part of your journey?
Wow. The fact that I constantly am surprised at home with my son.
Yeah.
Something that I've learned about with people on the spectrum or people with any disability or challenge is that oftentimes they are misunderstood, and being misunderstood means people can treat them as if they're dumb or stupid.
Yeah.
They are anything but.
That's right.
Maybe they can't get the words out fast enough. Maybe they don't have the articulation in conjunction with not being able to get the words out fast enough. They are anything but stupid. And if we would just take a pause and give them the platform and give them an opportunity to speak, what you learn is invaluable.
That's right.
People on the spectrum are some of the smartest people.
That's right.
And they just are misunderstood.
A lot of our geniuses that we
Albert Einstein.
I was going to say that we look up to.
Elon Musk.
There you go, on the spectrum.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
it really does. That's something that constantly is a surprise for me at home because I never know what's going to come out of my son's mouth. But I mean, right now we're really into presidents, and he can tell you anything about a president, anything. Anything.
Well, for somebody that does have a child that's on the spectrum or even adult, you had mentioned a couple of organizations that they can get some information.
It's so
tools
true.
that they can use.
Yeah, so the minute you hit Google, outside of a definition for what autism and ASD stands for, the first website that comes up would be autismspeaks.org. You can go to that website, you can put in any state in the 50 states, and there's programs, there's opportunities, there's therapists, there's research programs, there's this, there's that. It's a plethora of tools. And now I think I did a show with them, and they said they have something called My Autism Guide, and that makes you personalize, and so it aggregates everything personalized to what you and your family need. Because maybe you've outgrown ABA therapy or speech therapy, but maybe you need a transitional toolkit. So there's all kinds of great information out there, and so I'm very fortunate to speak with some of the people that I do speak with, because I think that it's going to help me get to the next level with Lyric, my own son, when we're ready to go to that next level.
Well, I do want to take a moment because we have talked about a lot about what you do and why you do it.
Right.
But who is Gina Kavali? What would you like the people to know about you?
Oh, about me?
Yeah.
I think
she's amazing. She's a good friend.
I'm a humble.
Good
I don't
people.
really talk. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
I'm a wife. I'm a good friend. I'm a trusted confidant.
Yeah.
I love to travel. I love music. I love going to concerts.
Yeah.
I love.
And where are you from originally?
California, then Georgia. Being on the radio, you kind of live like life in the military. You go where the radio job is. I'm here in Atlanta, and now I work out of my house in my home studio.
Which is nice, very nice.
So I don't know really what else there is to tell. I love my family. I love my friends. I love to cook. I love to share time.
And she likes going to concerts.
I do. And that's me. And again, I think being a trusted confidant and holding people's secrets is really a great attribute to have, because then nobody can ever accuse you of, he said, she said, it's zip zip.
But the other thing that you do that a lot of people may have, because many of you have heard her voice on the radio before, on a popular show, and you still have a series that
I have a
you
podcast called Three Things You Need to Know.
That's what I was going in that direction.
So I have a podcast, 3 Things You Need to Know. You can find that wherever you grab your podcasts. And that's so much fun for me to do. It gives my brain a lot of information all at once through the stories. But, in addition to who I am, I think it's important to know that I love to encourage people. Yeah. I love to give people ideas. Yeah. Much like a health coach.
I call her the high idea lady.
Yeah, health coach, life coach, mentor. I love to help people get to the next level, whatever next level that is. I also believe in women in powerful positions, and I just love that. So to take a woman and watch them transform themselves, much like you say you're watching me transform myself, that's what it's really all about for the next young lady.
And I think that's important, because I think a lot of times we don't get enough encouragement. I mean, we talk about women's empowerment, but then behind closed doors, sometimes
it's snicker and
exactly.
And kind of catty.
Yeah.
There's no room for that for me.
That's right.
And I like to associate myself with women who are not like catty, because when you do, you'll find that there is power.
That's right.
Knowledge is power. Women are powerful, and there's just a way to like where it can all work together.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As we wrap up, what is something you would like for people to know about Life with the Spectrum?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the event coming up, but I guess your mission right now with Life with the Spectrum?
My mission is to continue to speak with people who are game changers, movers and shakers. I have a great list, a lineup of guests coming up. Thane from Therapy Land, Jennifer from Two Sparrows Village. The list is kind of endless, and I want those people to keep coming. It makes the show more inclusive to not just Life with the Spectrum, but all of the different moving puzzle pieces that make up ASD.
That's right.
So you can get in touch with me again, gcast.com. It's gkasts.com, gcast.com. Look for my show on YouTube, Life with the Spectrum. You can Google Gina Kavali. So many ways to get in contact with me. And again, if you know somebody I need to be speaking with, that's who I want to know.
Absolutely.
So please reach out. You know?
And the reason why it's so important for people to reach out is because they say, isn't it something like 1 in 46 people or 1 in 44 people
are diagnosed with autism, and now more than ever, adults are being diagnosed on the spectrum. Kids that are getting diagnosed, then their parents are like, you know what? Maybe that has a little bit to do with me. They go back and they also are getting diagnosed.
Right.
So we're finding that more and more people, and then that means we need to have and share more and more resources.
That's right. And once again, if you guys do need a good resource, you've got Gina Kavali here. She can get you pointed in the right direction. As always, we love having people on the show like yourself that help
Thank you, Donnie.
Not only have a beautiful life, but enjoy their beautiful life and have the resources that they need. And I want to thank you for that.
I thank you.
Really thank you for
and I
that.
thank you. You're doing what makes you happy.
I am.
And that's what makes me so proud of you.
Thank you. You're listening to Doni Jones Live. I'm Doni the Tree Lady, and this is Gina Kavali.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the renters start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, for a tree specialist call.
Don's Tree
If the
Service.
trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. Hey, this is Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.DoniJonesLive.com.
Question: have you ever thought about where you're at in the Bible? You know, the Bible is broken down in different parts. You got the Old Testament, the prophets, you got the Gospels, and then you have the letters from Paul. Where are you at in the Bible? You know, are you in the garden where you're still trying to figure life out? Or do you feel like you're in that 400 years of silence, not hearing from God at all? Where are you at in the Bible? I'd love to talk about it with you at St. Mark Lutheran Church. Yep, this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are in person, and I would love to worship with you. And we start at 11 a.m. We're located at 4137 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. Now, if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can always log on to stmarklutheranchurch.org and be a part of any of our online services. That's stmarklutheranchurch.org.
Doni Jones Live.